Take charge of your purchases with a Cashback Rewards credit card from Pathways Financial Credit Union. Make purchases anywhere, anytime, and get 1.5% cash back for each dollar you spend. That's right, 1.5% cash back for each dollar you spend. Visit pathwayscu.com. That's pathwayscu.com to find out more about the Cashback Rewards credit card from Pathways. Pathways Financial Credit Union, your true financial partner. Member NCUA, Equal Housing Lender.
Get more for your money every time you shop Meijer. Start shopping for the season's best holiday toy deals, like buy one, get one 50% off when you mix or match select toys from Barbie, Nerf, Hot Wheels, Disney Princess, Coco Melon, and more. And pick up a meal that helps you feel warm and cozy with buy one, get one 50% off beef, lamb, or pork roasts. Whether it's gifts, roasts, or fresh produce, you get the same low Meijer prices no matter how you shop, in-store or online. Get more for your money at Meijer. Exclusions apply. See all the deals in the Meijer app.
Stand by. The vacuum tubes are warming up. This is a special live broadcast right here on Georgia Radio.
Hey, hang on, wait.
Too loud.
No, I have to mash the button. How you doing, Brother Wade?
Are you sure that we may be able to use the other one now?
I'm telling you, we had some technical.
We're having technical difficulties, and so we had to bypass our usual method here. And I'm on my headset with my real truck driver headset. And
Yeah,
my
we
cell
had to.
phone, so.
We had to step to the spare, so to speak.
Yes.
So we've done it. How are you, birthday boy? It's been another year since I've talked to you.
As I say, I'm fat and happy, and we're glad y'all joined us, and we're running a little late. We were having some technical difficulties, but we overcome them. And I had a great birthday, and I want to thank again everybody. I got calls, private messages, comments, posts galore, and it was just overwhelming. I thank each and every one of you. It was a blessing. Thank you.
I think that's great. Well, it was a good birthday for you. And we've been celebrating your birthday all week long on Georgia Radio. I don't even know if you know that, but we played a whole bunch of songs on
and I appreciate that.
Classic Country and Request. We played all the ones that you hate. I even played some Bob Wills where he's hollering about. Yeah. I played all your favorites. I played all your favorites.
My neighbor, Tommy Bellamy Sr., he's the late Tommy Bellamy Sr., he lived in Texas and Louisiana, and he played with the Bob Wills band. Bob Wills was the Texas Playboys, wasn't it?
Yeah, the Texas Playboys.
And he would always he just idolized Bob Wills. So when I got older, I got a computer, I would go to YouTube or find Bob Wills, and I thought he just said too much, way too much. I can't listen to Bob Wills. It's a little too much of a good thing.
I played some Milk Cow Blues for you the other night.
Yeah, well, thank you.
Yeah, I figured you'd like that. Speaking of cows.
Yeah, we're going to get a segue to Meeks Brothers Cattle Company after that.
That's right.
They don't have milk cows; they have beef cows, and they have some of the finest that you'll ever stick a fork in. And and you don't have to go out there and like do the cows, and dress them or like the old way. They'll do it for you and have it vacuum packed and ready. It's beautiful meat. They really do. If you got to get with Meeks Brothers Cattle Company and order.
Well, and this is the time of year to do it too, because
it is. Yes.
I mean, right now we're in the peak cattle calling season for them, and they've got to figure out how much you need, how much they need, and all the math works out. So call them up right now and get the best vacuum packed meat you can get, because that's the thing. Yep. It'll go 3 years in your freezer.
Years in your freezer, that's right. Lasts a long time, and it still tastes. Listen, the color, the taste, the texture. It's not that pink, pale stuff you get at the grocery store. It's real beef. When you see it, you'll say, "Okay, I see the difference."
Yeah,
and then
dark
when you
red.
Cook it, you will, and you'll taste the difference.
Yeah, really.
But
good.
all right, we had a good week here on Georgia Folk and Farm Life.
You're all coughing up. We're worried about you, Brother Wade.
Got slightly strangled a little bit. on nothing. You get older, that'll happen.
We should be
Matt,
concerned.
You get strangled on nothing. You injure yourself in your sleep and things like that.
Let's have a moment of prayer here for Brother Wade on All Souls
croak.
Day.
I don't croak.
Yeah, that's right. That you don't croak. No,
Well,
we had.
I
It's
don't
been a
have.
busy
Listen, I have when I'm using my real broadcasters equipment that you so kindly brought to me a few months back. I've got I've got the headset and all the gadgets and blinky lights and knobs and knobs galore and buttons to mash, but it's got a cough button or sneeze button, and I can mute it for a second while I sniff or cough. And well, we're doing it tonight on the old school way with a cell phone with my Bluetooth headset. So I'll just maybe put my thumb over the microphone and try to do my coughing where you not get anything in your ear there, Matt.
That's right. Talk about Conway, because Conway's running around behind you tonight.
Yeah,
we have a studio link so we can see each other, and Conway is running behind you on the sofa back there.
As always. And he's had a good, and I know, listen, one of the best posts of the week was his Halloween outfit as Kanye, and people love that. You saw that, didn't you?
I did, but half of the people think his name is Kanye.
Now how's Kanye doing? No, his name is Conway. That was just for Halloween, okay? His name ain't Baby Ye. It was that yesterday, but today he's back to being Conway. He was rapping yesterday, and he was Kanye. He's back to singing He Stopped Loving Her Today and some old country songs. He don't sing Conway Twitty songs. I won't let him.
He was rapping yesterday, and today he's unwrapping chicken.
Yeah, he's unwrapped. Yeah, now he did eat. I have learned, Matt, with Conway to keep him from going crazy during the show and irritating me, which he don't really irritate me, but distracting me. I feed him well right before the show, and I made him his favorite was canned chicken meat, brown rice, and mayonnaise mixed together. A little bit of mayonnaise. People don't freak out on me. I don't give him a jar of mayonnaise. I just put enough to, and he loves that.
It helps keep his coat shiny and white.
Well, no, I just put a picture up there. Did you see it?
I did.
Of what he's going to look like in about a week if he don't quit shedding. And I found the perfect picture because that dog's got a flop ear and a bent tail, and he's got on a gold necklace. It's the perfect picture of a Mexican hairless, and that's what the baby's going to look like next week if he don't quit shedding. He's getting pink. I'm serious.
Yeah.
You can hold him up to the light, you can see through him. He has no hair. He's at the top of my head.
All right, we got to talk about your grandmother driving. You got to fill us in on this story because I read it. I came home and read it. You and I talked this afternoon, and I went home and I read it.
That's been a very popular post and I included my mother. And listen, it's the truth. I didn't stretch that a lot, but what the genesis of that post was yesterday. I was talking on the phone to my buddy Tom Kersey, who's been a member of the group from about the start.
The barrel man.
And Tom, barrel man. He said in Brooklyn, use barrels. If you need to use barrels, 55-gallon drums or plastic barrels or steel, with a top on or top off. He's got them, and
he's got the Kersey disappearing burn barrel.
Yeah,
you
can get that plastic burn barrel and use it once. It's disposable. You use it one time. It's a big fire, and then
takes care of itself. There's nothing to clean up.
Yes. Just
patent
over the
pending
spot. Yes.
Kersey burn barrel.
Only in Brooklyn, Georgia. Tom Kersey, the man. But I was
right.
talking to Tom yesterday, and Tom is one of those people that's naturally funny without really trying to be. And he, like me, he's country. He's Northtown Junction over here, in Emmanuel County, and we're distantly related. But he mentioned, I don't remember what subject, but it just, as my mama would say, it just slew me when he told me this. He said his grandma Kersey never could drive because she had to look out the window to see which way the tires was pointed in order to drive, and like Tom said, you can't do that. You can't. You can't do that.
Can you just imagine her going down the road though?
And I imagine this was probably like a Model A Ford or something back in the day, and she got the window down, her head out the window because she couldn't visualize just see which way the car was going and then turn the wheel to compensate. No, she had to look out the window and hang out the window to see which way the tires were pointing. And that just cracked me up because I have heard they all say Shakespeare and Solomon both said there's nothing new under the sun, but that was a new one. I've never heard of that in my life. And
you think about driving a wagon. And you'd have that, you've got that tiller up there, the hand,
and then
if you could see where that bar
they were
was
right
pointed.
there. Yeah,
Yeah.
That's probably what she was used to doing.
Right. Just want to
Yeah.
make sure.
Conway, you've got to, Conway
A high disregard for anything technical.
yeah. Conway is wide open now. I didn't give him enough
He
chicken. I
is.
may have to give him Benadryl and chicken next time.
All I can see is just a little mouth that pops up on the bottom of the screen.
Get children's liquid Benadryl and mix it with the mayonnaise and the chicken and brown rice, and I'll get the proportions perfect. Eventually, where I can make him go to sleep when I want him to.
Look at this. Y'all can't see
I'm
it.
losing members right now, right and left. He's poisoning the baby.
Y'all can't see
man,
it.
we're
but
having way too much fun tonight.
I wish you could
tell
see this tonight. All it is just mouth and ears going after Wade.
He is. He's snapping like a snap.
Yeah.
He's just crazy.
He's going crazy
Calm down,
tonight.
baby. He is. He just wants me to take up time with him.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that story about his grandmother, who I am related to, that was just it was funny, and it made me think about. I told in that post about my grandmother driving once and taking down the yard fence and the grapevine, and Grandpa and his brother Pink Marsh, Grandpa Robert Marsh and his brother Pink were going to share a 1918 Dodge. It was used. They bought it, and they were going to share it, and then they let Granny drive it, and she pretty much annihilated it, and Uncle Pink bought Grandpa's share of it from him and took it home and carried it. That was the end of their car. And then my paternal grandparents, Ma and Pa Peebles, they were born. He was born in 1894 and Ma in 1896, and they had never had a car. And it was after the war, I think in 46. They were still walking. They walked to town every Saturday. They'd been married since 1914, and they decided they would on a Saturday they always walk to town. And sometimes somebody would pick them up and give them a ride, but once in a while nobody would pass by, and they'd have to walk all the way to town. It's a good walk. So Pa told Ma, he said, Maybelle, Rainy and Maybelle. I said, Maybelle, if don't nobody give us a ride today when we get to Swangsboro, I'm going to buy us an old car. So nobody picked him up, so he bought him a 36 Oldsmobile coupe. And he didn't know how to drive it, so he paid Mr. Mason that had the car lot for it. And they went back around the town doing their shopping, and there's be a huge crowd, just throngs of people on Saturday in every town. And they finally ran up with Pa was looking for somebody that could live near him that could drive the car home for him, right? So he ran up with Uncle Manning Walker and Aunt Mariella. That was Ma and Pa's daughter, Daddy's sister, my Aunt Mariella, and her husband Manning Walker. And they ran up with them. So Uncle Manning didn't have a car, but he could drive. So Pa told him, said, Manning, we bought a car. And said, y'all meet up with us at the end of the day and we'll go home. So at the end of the day, they all went home to Ma and Pa's house. And Uncle Manning dropped them off, and then he and Aunt Mariella went home with the car. That was on Saturday night. The next day, on Sunday afternoon, Uncle Manning came back to Mom and Pa's house, brought the car, taught Pa how to drive, and then Pa drove Uncle Manning back home, and then he brought his car home. And they drove successfully after that. The rest, pretty much until their very older years, they sold the old 52 Chevrolet that they had last. And but my grandmother, Maybelle, this old car, it was a 52 Chevrolet they had when I was young. A big old 4-door, which is a tank, and they want big old cars.
Yeah. What do they do with the coupe?
My Uncle James bought this 52 Chevrolet new, and then when he got ready to get a new car, he sold Mom and Pa. His mom and daddy does 52s. I guess he got rid of the old Oldsmobile then. But they had that old 52 Chevrolet 4-door. It's a big old tank. Had a 6-cylinder with a 3-speed on the column, and Pa he never would put a good battery in it, an old 6-volt battery, and Mom would choke it down. Anytime she'd go to Swangsboro to town, she'd choke it down, and everybody knew her and knew that car, and they knew Pa didn't have a battery in it worth a flip. And as soon as she choked it down, as she said, it would shut off. People would just come out of the woodwork. Just men folks knew her, and I've been little riding with her many times and seen it. It's choked down, and somebody, 2 or 3 men, strapping men, would come out from nowhere and just start pushing it, and she'd pop the clutch and she'd crank back up and we'd go.
It's choked down.
She was a fixture around Swangsboro in that old car. So yeah. But
they knew when and how.
Yeah, if when it choked down, because other than that, it was going to be blocking traffic. So. But that was I remember they run a paper route in their older years and delivered the paper in that old car. And they raised a young man named Evans Glisson. And Evans, they took him in his for circumstances, it was bad in his family. They took him in and raised him and loved him like their own, and he loved them. And he died young, sadly. But I remember Evans would throw the papers, and Pa would drive, and Evans could throw those papers. And but I remember one time, about the last time before they got rid of that car and quit driving, I remember them coming to our house. And we ate like Sunday dinner, and it got ready to go. Evans was in the backyard playing with me and my brothers. We heard Pa call him several times. Evans was kind of stubborn boy, and he didn't go around there. And we said, Pa's calling you. I hear him. Evans, boy, you braver than we are, you know. So we heard the old car crank up. Well, what Evans knew when Pa drove off, him and my daddy didn't get along, and he didn't want to be left at our house. So I remember as Pa drove away and Evans running out into the Highway 80 out there where we live, back towards Swainsboro. And Pa drove just fast enough, and Evans running down the road, chasing that car down the road. And finally, when they almost went out of sight, Pa slowed down enough that Evans jumped through the back window like the Dukes of Hazzard, and Pa gunned it, and off they went.
He made it home, at least.
Yeah, that thing was funny. But from then on, if when Pa hollered for Evans to come on, that boy, he was first in row center.
I bet he came home then.
Yeah, well, it's time for the break.
It's time. Well, we can take a quick one.
Boy, time is going past on this show. This show is fine.
Well, you're talking about your grandma and driving,
That's
and
right.
we've got some more driving stories here in just a few minutes, and a couple of Halloween stories coming up here for you. So stand by. We'll be right back.
Hi, this is Wade Peoples from Georgia Folk and Farm Life Radio. I'm here to tell you about Meeks Brothers Cattle Company, and you don't have to worry about supply chain issues or where your beef comes from. Do what I do and call Meeks Brothers Cattle Company today. You can get a whole, half, a quarter, any amount of beef you want. Good quality beef, vacuum packed, lasts up to 3 years in your freezer. It's grass-fed, grain finished, made to order. Visit Meeks Brothers Cattle Company on Facebook today and tell them Brother Wade sent you. And that's Meeks Brothers Cattle Company. Thank you.
I know you can hear me, and so can your customers. Lots of people don't take kids seriously. Well, listen up. Advertising on Georgia Radio is seriously easy and affordable. Visit georgiaradio.com/advertise, or better yet, call the station. So let's talk. Your customers are listening, and so is my mom. Hi, Mom.
Will you and everyone you work with lose their minds if you don't use Upwork to bring in more talent to help? Yep. Can you afford to spend months finding that talent the old-fashioned way? Nope. Can you hire them in seconds on Upwork? Yep. Is it complicated? Nope. Can you have them as long as you need? Yep. Longer than you need? Nope. Is Upwork a newer, better way to work? Yep. Is this commercial over? Nope. What about now? Yep.
Upwork, this is how we work now.
Take charge of your purchases with a Cashback Rewards credit card from Pathways Financial Credit Union. Make purchases anywhere, anytime, and get 1.5% cash back for each dollar you spend. That's right, 1.5% cash back for each dollar you spend. Visit pathwayscu.com. That's pathwayscu.com to find out more about the Cashback Rewards credit card from Pathways. Pathways Financial Credit Union, your true financial partner. Member NCUA Equal Housing Lender.
Get 30% shorter average wait time when you buy and book online at DiscountTire.com. Discount Tire. Let's get you taken care of.
All the best country.
Georgia Radio. Everywhere you go.
Well, here we are again with Matt Jolly on Georgia Radio and the Georgia Folk and Farm Life Radio Show, brought to you by Meeks Brothers Cattle Company, and you listen to me, Wade Peoples, the old standby here in Conway. He's finally calmed down. He's back laying down here gnawing on something. I bought him a little stuffed sheep today, and he's had a ball with that. And
I don't hear the pig oinking.
No,
Hey,
go ahead.
No, I was just going to say we want to invite people to invite their friends to Georgia Folk and Farm Life. You said something today that really resonated. You said, look, don't think that you have to be from here or have lived here or anything, have any ties to Georgia. Just come and join the fun.
Yeah. Some people mistakenly, and that's okay. I mean, I'm not condemning that. They just assume that you need to be from Georgia to be a member or have lived. But no, anybody that enjoys Southern traditional family farm, rural life, that kind of thing. If you're interested in it, if you like we got some great photography and writing and some great writers and people just contribute all sorts of things. It's of interest to a lot of people. And so, yes, it's Georgia Folk and Farm Life. I know one time years ago, when we started growing, I said I was going to just make it Folk and Farm Life or Southern Folk and Farm Life. And yeah, they was like people crowd threatening to be out here with torches and pitchforks here, if I took the name Georgia off of it. So I never mentioned that again, but it's not just Georgia. In fact, when I started this group, let's see if I can find that on what it's about. Yeah. Okay. Here's the kind of mission statement that I wrote the day I started this group. You got time for me to read it?
We got all the time in the world.
Okay. This group is solely for the discussion of rural life in the South. Does not have to be Georgia, but of interest to Georgians. That's the key. It's just of interest to Georgia. Food, religion, culture, traditions, farming, turpentining, dress, music, education, logging, livestock, trees, bushes, pets, churches, you name it. Interesting old or current photos, essays, opinions, humorous writings, remembrances, old ways of life, original writings, and photographs. We do not allow memes, posts shared from other sites or groups, regardless of how interesting they may be. Write it or photograph it yourself or leave it where you see it, please. No ads, cussing, meanness, negativity, or argumentative comments allowed. No unkindness or racial insults. All folks are welcome here. We love Christians and Jews and tolerate atheists as long as they're nice. We do discourage photos of most dead animals unless there is a good reason for it. We do not agree with killing snakes just because they're snakes. We love hunting and fishing and the U.S. Constitution and Toto. We will talk about Yankees, gnats, sweet tea, Coca-Colas, corn, beans, tar, nabs, hurdy cup, mules, open wheels, cold nights and warm days, and 1,000 other things, including you. So
there you go.
That's what this group is about. The description has been there since day one, right there. And I think we've held close to that, Matt. I think we haven't strayed much.
No. I think it's been a lot of fun to be a part of, and the radio side of it here, we're just continuing that. So you've got something to do all day, and join in on it. That's the fun part about this show.
Now let's get back.
You can hear Wade.
That's right. And Matt, we're getting back over there to the driving thing now. We hit on that same post I mentioned.
Yes,
my grandparents and Tom's grandmother. But one of the ones I think people really liked was my description of my mother. And I told about how Daddy wouldn't let her have a car to drive. And she had 7 children at the age of 10, and we lived out in the country. And Daddy was gone all day, and we were stuck. So Mama needed a car, And Daddy would haul us where we needed to go, but then he'd complain about it, So it wasn't.
Well, so I mean, you're supposed to do that, aren't you? That's in how to be a husband.
Yeah. So Daddy was sure that if for some reason that he thought that if he bought Mama a car, she would just get in it, drive off, and never come back. And like I said, I don't know what made him think she might do that. What in the world would? Yeah, was stuck with him and 7 children. Yeah, I bet she did think about that at the time. If he'd buy me a car, I can see Mama had lived in the sunset and never come back. But she finally had to move out, leave him, and threatened to divorce him, and he bought her a car. But that was a whole other story. That thing about the car, but. I remember the fusses of him trying to teach her to drive and her having a nervous breakdown. And I said in the post, I said, Daddy bought her a car and gave her a driving lesson, but Mama never learned to drive. But don't get me wrong. She wore out several cars and hauled us all over the country. But she never learned to drive.
Never learned.
There's a different thing. There's a distinction. Well, not a difference. They say she never drove. She piloted those cars. And
yeah, didn't drive well.
Conway is growling at me over here.
I can hear him. And he's
never growled. He's gurring me to tell me what he wants me to do. He wants to throw something.
Yeah,
But anyway, so Mama never learned to drive really, and she was scared to drive, and she drove. It didn't stop her from driving.
Did she drive on the highway?
Yeah, she bought a new S10 pickup, and the first day she bought it, she took a tour out through by herself. Went out through Alabama and see my sisters out there in Mississippi, and then went up to Chicago to see her brother, and then out to Kansas and Missouri to see my sister that was out there to Branson, and then came back. But she was terrified the whole time, but she didn't slow her down.
Isn't that great? I mean, mind over matter, and she just did it.
She couldn't back. If she had to back up, we would all get out of the car and watch for her, and she would have a nervous breakdown just getting in a parking spot. And
God bless her.
She was, and she drove. And I have cousins and people that still remember this. Mama couldn't maintain a speed, and she wouldn't use cruise control because she felt like that would, losing even less control. And she couldn't regulate her speed. She would speed up and let off, and we'd slosh back and forth in the seats and get seasick.
Yeah,
and I'd ride with other people and it'd be like a dream. I said, this is so nice. Oh, your mom was such a great driver. Oh, I wish my mama could drive like this. Just enjoy it. It was like a dream riding with somebody else's mama. We'd go to church and go home with somebody, and their mama would drive us, and like, oh, why couldn't I have been born in this family?
Yeah.
My God.
Like riding on a cloud in that big car.
Yeah. Mama could just cook better than everybody's mama. And it was redeeming, she had redeeming value in it. She could just outcook everybody's mama, but anybody's mama could outdrive her. She just was the worst at driving.
My grandmother drove
through. Just about had a nervous breakdown every time she left the house. But like I say, that she didn't shy away from it, but it almost killed her.
My grandmother drove through 2 garage doors in one day. You believe that? 2 garage doors in one day. 2
in one day.
2 in one day. I told her
garage door people liked her.
They loved her. I said if we did one more, you'd be almost an ace. But that's the thing about that generation is that I don't think they didn't have to master the art. They just had to get there.
Get the basics. Yeah.
That's right. Just get there.
Listen, if Mama had to look out the window to see which way the tire was going, she would have still driven.
Yeah. She would have figured it out. You think she would have been
Matt, we had a carport at the house. It had built out of concrete block in it. And it was a good foot on either side of the car, wider than a car, right? But Mama couldn't park it in there or back it out. And when she came home, she would put the nose of it right there and stop and park. And at the end, at that night before they went to bed, about the last thing Daddy did, he had to go out there and pull her car into the carport. And in the morning, when he left, he'd back it out so she could go somewhere during the day. And sometimes he'd forget because he didn't really want to go anywhere, We were trapped if that car was in the carport. We were little. We would offer to back it out for Mama, but she wouldn't let us. That 6-year-old moved the car out for her. I don't think she was going to let that happen. Well, actually, we're older than 6 because I think I was 9 years old or 10 before she started driving. So we were big enough to be aggravating us.
Yeah.
So
you think she would have been happier with some other kind of vehicle, like a motorcycle, maybe, or something? You could have stuck y'all in a sidecar.
Yeah, we needed a station wagon, but Daddy was proud, and he just felt like that if you had a station wagon, it'd make you look like you had too many children. But there were 7 of us kids. You know what I'm saying? It was like, yes, you're right. It does. He was absolutely right.
He felt like it'd be too. It looked like you had too many children.
It would be stating the obvious too much. I ain't having no dang old station wagon. I ain't having one. People got too many youngins got a station wagon. Yeah, you got too many.
There's 7 of us.
There's already too many of them. I'm sorry, but that just. Yeah, that was funny.
Oh my goodness. Well, we said we were going to talk about some Halloween stuff, and what else we were going to talk about. We had another list on here, but it doesn't matter. But anyhow, what was the Halloween store? You had a Halloween. Well, I forgot candy. I didn't buy candy until the last minute yesterday.
Well, fortunately, Conway and I live so far off the beaten path that nobody comes out here. And yeah,
you just have a couple of roofers that come by periodically and driveway pavers.
If little children came to my door on Halloween and knocked, I would be really quiet and make them think I wasn't home. And then Conway would start barking, and I'd have to put my hand over his mouth, like, shh, until they left,
Yeah.
So that's me. But now I did put a post on here about what was your favorite candy. Now, the two that would really tick me and my brothers and all off was people giving candy corn, because I think that like you could buy a 10-pound bag of that mess for like a nickel back then, and they just dump it in a wash tub. Here, baby, come on, fill your bag up. No, ma'am, I want to be fine. I'll just take one. Oh no, and they dump it they'd have like a 2-cup measuring cup, and they'd dump it in your sack. All you could tote it, over your shoulder like a hobo toting his belongings.
Of course, it wasn't
candy corn.
It wasn't individually wrapped back then.
No, it's just
thrown in the bag.
Corn is a horrible thing. And then those circus peanuts, they were just as bad. Those marshmallow things.
The wax. Terrible. Did you ever get one of those Zamfir wax pan flutes? Remember those?
Oh, I love those. We chew those up. I remember one time when I was little. I was 2 years old. Or a little less. I can remember when I was that young. A lot of people think I can't, but I do. I know this little boy came riding by on a bicycle, a pair of those wax lips, and I thought that was I went inside and told Mom and Daddy I wanted some new lips, and they thought, "Are you crazy? I want some of those new lips." And it took me it took me a while to explain to them what I was talking about. That those red wax lips, but that's the first ones I'd ever seen, and I really wanted those.
You thought that was pretty neat, huh? Well, yeah. I'm glad that you had a good birthday yesterday. Was it ever a problem having that date as your birthday?
Listen, we lived so far back in the wood. Mama didn't drive, and we were shielded. I didn't even know about trick or treating until I think I was 6 years old. I'd never heard. I'd went on Halloween and never heard of trick or treating until I was 6. And because I started school when I was 5, so I had heard about it then. And Mama let us go trick or treating, and I had a Casper the Friendly Ghost little outfit, them that cost 10 cents, the whole box of the little white cape and the little mask. Yeah. And of course that rubber band broke first thing, and I'm walking around like, Phantom of the Opera holding that mask up to my face, and I remember sweating. It was and mosquitoes biting me, and I was into that. That was my first Halloween trick or treating, and it was my birthday, and it was all about me. I thought it was all for me.
Yeah. Well, it was back then. I mean, that's what it's all about. And
that's all about.
And you know what? It still is about you on Georgia Folk and Farm Life, and we're glad you're here this week, especially celebrating you. You do.
I'm going to give
most
a little
of the
shout out. Hey, I'm going to tell you something. Y'all like the picture of Kanye with his bling little necklace, and I posted these people over at Party Impressions Costume Shop, costumes, accessories, hosiery, hats, and wigs. If you need costumes or party stuff, go over there and they have it's a great little store. I love that. I've never been there before. I went in and told them I said, I know you don't have like a gaudy gold necklace with a $sign on it, like, oh yeah, we've got those. Like, you kid, this is what I came for. I just found the place. They had them. Yeah.
Well, that's good to know. If I ever need a gaudy,
so nice. Yeah, if you need a gaudy plastic necklace, look like you need a Mr. T starter kit.
Yeah,
go to Party Impressions in Statesboro.
I wonder if they have a Wade Peoples costume.
They should. What's it got? A big nose and big ears and a bald head
and a headset.
And a headset.
A trucker headset and a little white dog.
Yep.
It sure has been fun tonight. It really has been.
We've had a good time. It has been fun. We've laughed and had a good time, and I hope everybody enjoyed it. And listen, we love y'all and we appreciate it. We love y'all on the Facebook and on the radio show. Check us out on the podcast.
There you go.
Thank you, Meeks Brothers.
Yep, go get some meat. Meeks Brothers meat. All right, Conway. We'll talk to y'all soon.
See him out here on my knee.
He's still going to town.
He's wild.
All right.
I have to medicate you, little boy. All right, thanks, Matt. Enjoyed it, everybody.
Georgia Radio. Everywhere you go.
Get 30% shorter average wait time when you buy and book online at DiscountTire.com. Discount Tire. Let's get you taken care of.
Celebrate this holiday season by sending money to your loved ones with Western Union. As a new customer, you can enjoy a $0 transfer fee when you send money online. For fast and reliable money transfers, use Western Union. Visit westernunion.com or download our app today to get started, and your first transfer fee is on us. Services offered by Western Union Financial Services, Inc., NMLS 906983, or Western Union International Services, LLC, NMLS 906985. FX gains apply.